Hey guys, welcome back to another case study. This one is a really special one. It's with one of my students, Yash. He's 22 years old and last month he did $7,000 in commissions. So before we get started, Yash, can you confirm, lad, how much money did you make last month?
Yeah, it was 7K in comms last month. First proper month of closing, so it was good.
Sick, easy. So in this video, we're going to learn more about, I guess, Yash and his journey because his journey is kind of interesting and it's very consistent to really show you guys how, at any age, young guy, 22 years old, you can completely change your life with a high income skill like high ticket sales. And it's not easy, right? Yash will tell you this himself, but if you can put in the work, if you can put in the hard yards, if you can give it time and just be consistent, you can pretty much completely change your life. And it goes for anyone watching this. And it doesn't matter whether you're in sales right now, it doesn't matter if you're thinking to hop into sales or already in and struggling. This video will be useful. That way you can relate to Yash's journey and see the mistakes and also the strengths that he had throughout it. So I guess a good place to start then, bro, would be let's go before high ticket sales, before online money, before all this stuff. Where was Yash, you know, 5, 6 months ago? Like, where was he?
5, 6 months ago, I actually just graduated from uni. So I finished uni end of December, and then I spent kind of the summer just actually taking a break from everything. Back end of uni was a little bit soul crushing, if I'm being honest. But um, and then I hit like towards maybe March, April, and I kind of just realized that I was just working. I was just working a retail job. Wasn't really doing too much in that. Just kind of on autopilot a little bit. A lot of just going through the motions and then trying some different stuff like I always have been, but nothing was really landing. And then in May is when everything kind of changed a lot. Especially like obviously joined your mentorship and then kind of got the ball rolling from there and then made sure I kept the momentum going through the next 5 to 6 months. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. When you say like you just graduated, kind of working here and there, bro, I guess what specifically was it about that life and what challenges, I guess, frustrations were you facing at the time? Because a lot of people can probably relate.
I think it was more of the fact that I had so much time on my hands, like I couldn't use not having time as an excuse anymore. Like for uni, for example, like because it was like so much workload, naturally I kind of just put it off, like not having time. But then when I finished everything and I was just working, and even then I wasn't even working like a lot of shifts per week when I had all this free time, and I try and plan out a day where I can start stuff, and it was just getting really frustrating when I couldn't find something that was actually working or that I could actually work out like myself. And then I just felt like I was wasting time. I just felt like I was being really unproductive. And then yeah, so finding something that actually occupied my time, and then did it in the way that I wanted because I always wanted to get into online space. Like you talk to anybody in high tech sales, they've already gone through everything. You said it yourself when I first met you, you went through the same thing. You know, job shipping, trying to start your own marketing agency, whatever it is. Like everyone's gone through it, but eventually everyone ends up in high ticket sales, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason they do that is because they just don't have that little bit of structure in their life, and that's kind of what I felt like I didn't have
Yeah.
prior to May. And so that's where the frustration kind of built up. And yeah, like I was just over it at that point when I hopped on the call with you. It was more of a confirm it. It was more of a let's go, let's do this now rather than oh I don't know, like this that.
Yeah, yeah, no, I hear you. And the reason I ask is, dude, I remember when I graduated fresh out of high school, so it was slightly different, but it was kind of a similar point in my life where I had a lot of time in my hands. But for me, the next step was university, and I just dreaded the idea of going to uni, doing the same thing again. And for you, it's graduating out of university and maybe going into a 9 to 5 job, right? So for context, what did you study in university, bro? And why did you feel like most people, just go find a 9 to 5, you just graduated, like what everyone else does?
So I did science. I did it for 3 years. I did my bachelor's, and honestly, that was, believe it or not, leading up to med as well.
Yeah,
Like that was just the prereq for trying to get into medicine.
yeah,
And after my degree, like while waiting for the med stuff to kind of happen, I was like my mum and dad were like pretty hell bent on, fine, you finished your degree now, like time to get that 9 to 5, like you mentioned. And honestly, like it was exciting at the start because like it's a different avenue, like oh my God, like big boy money, like nine to
yeah,
five, whatever, like entry level. You start at 70, 80K, and then you kind of build yourself up from there.
yeah,
And it's just like a different environment. You you're doing that. But then like you kind of sit on it a little bit and you go, like, do I really want to be stuck in a lab, like tediously doing the same thing Monday to Friday, 9 to 5? Like, yeah, I get 2 5 a week, a fortnight, but like it doesn't cost me like cost me my time, cost me my energy, cost me like travel, commute, everything that you hear prospects say in a pain point. That's exactly what it was, right? And so I was like, that's the reason I put that off as well, and that's the reason I kind of stayed in my retail job just so I could find a different avenue while trying to put off my parents a little bit, really fended off trying to find a job. Not, I was applying, but like wasn't really doing it with full conviction, if I'm being honest. So yeah, it was just I honestly was dreading it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And so you were kind of dreading it. You're at a point in your life where you basically said it's a confirmation thing when you hopped on the call with me. So from that to now doing $7,000 a month completely at
Mm.
home with your income literally increasing month by month, and it's going to go a lot more down the line. I guess, how did you feel, bro? What went through your mind when you hit like that $7,000 a month online at home? Probably more than you would have made at a starting salary at university. Like, how did that actually feel?
Honestly, like I don't know what type of answer you're kind of expecting, where it's like, oh yeah, I was excited, like 7K in my bank, but it was more of cool. Like in that month, I definitely missed out on some deals, and you know about that already. And so I was kind of like, all right, cool, I hit 7K, but it could have been this. So I was like very neutral, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what I've adapted to over the last 5 6 months a lot, because I came in as a major overthinker. Like I'm like chronically an overthinker. Like I second guess decisions. Like I used to like self doubt a lot. Like, will this work? Am I doing the right thing? Whatever. Da, da, da. But because I came in and a lot of people in the space are like constantly, harping on about, just detach from the outcome. And I've seen a lot of people, especially like people that I hop onto networking calls with, they kind of mention the fact that like, I just kind of want to make money. I kind of like want to get to like 10K a month because I've got this ideology that it kind of all just happens as quick as possible. And it's possible, right? Like it's definitely possible, especially in this space, right? You get the right opportunity, you're going to make 10K in your first month or 10K in your second month, right? But the reality is, and you said this from the start, was don't worry about that. Focus on your skills and everything else will fall into place, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of the mindset I've had in all the roles that I've done, setting, closing, even the cold calling that I did at the start. It wasn't money or anything. It was just, can I sit here for 4 or 5 hours endlessly dialing people and then walk away and knowing that nothing was going to happen anyway, and even if something did happen, I was going to feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of the mentality that's kind of changed. That's been my biggest, I guess, success in my progress in the space. It was my mindset and my mentality rather than actually hitting comms or hitting like a financial goal,
Yeah.
if that makes
Dude,
sense.
that's very underrated. And I'm seeing a trend with all the case studies that I do and all the interviews that I do. This is why I do them, because you see common patterns. TJ, Adrian, Franklin, like they all said the very same thing. You know, when you hit that 10K a month, I know this is true for me as well, is the pathway to hitting 10K a month, the pathway to hitting 7K a month, it's way more fun than actually hitting the income goal itself.
Yeah.
And once you hit it, you realize that, damn, I've just been exposed to such a big world. There's people doing 30, 40K a month, people doing 100K a month, and even at some advanced levels, doing 1 million a month in the online space. And I have so much longer to go, but it's exciting, to be honest.
Yeah.
However, we sometimes tend to forget like where we actually came from, and where we were just like a couple months ago. So I guess what specifically was different, and what were you able to do that you weren't able to do before at like 7K a month, compared to, I guess, before, bro, when you had all the time in the world?
Honestly, it was more of I've always like handled money well, if that makes sense. Like I've always been like not an insane spender, but not really limiting myself. Like I know how to balance it well. But when I was working the retail job, obviously like just picking up extra shifts to kind of get that extra cash in during the week, and then that way I can like save it up and do that. It was more of like a scarcity thing,
Yeah.
than an abundance mindset. And again, you speak on that a lot, and that's actually helped me a lot because when I started hitting my comms, like for example, I hit what 3K in my first month. That's like it means nothing to a lot of people, but online money, like that was like the first bit of motion I've actually gotten. This first bit of money that came through into my bank account. I was working from home, working on online space. Like that was crazy to me. Just making like knowing that a process works, that was crazy. Not the 3K itself, but knowing that there's a process and a system out there that actually works. And so that's what kind of pushes you a lot more to go, okay, cool, I've hit this already, then
Yeah.
I can hit this. And then the next month, I think I hit 5K, right? And that was just me pushing even more on that one, right? And so like it came from more of an abundance mindset where like even though like I'm on and off on it at the moment, I haven't done too much, like I haven't done, I'm not in the position that I want to be in this offer, right? But I'm still like really detached from everything. I'm not like entirely stressed about what's to come. I'm just trying to find different tweaks, different methods, like to see what will land, what will work on this, rather than going, oh my God, like there's no money that's been made. What do I do now? Like, do I find another offer? Because I feel like that kind of limits you a lot. So abundance wise, when the comms kind of come in, you still live your life the exact same way, right? Like even though there's no money coming in, you already know like you kind of are on the right path of developing the skills. Like I've got the foundation, I've got the skills, but I know I can push more to get to like the top 1%, right? So you kind of know that in the back of your mind, you're on the right path. So that's where the abundance comes in, that abundance mindset comes in. That's why you're not, nothing really shifts. You kind of just, you have like a backing in your own self that whatever you do outside of sales, you can catch up on it at any time you want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes sense. And honestly, it's pretty rare that a lot of people are financially literate when they come into high ticket. That was very rare, bro. Very rare. When I find in this online space, a lot of people come in, they make money, and they go and spend it, and they don't have the right mentors in place, or they don't have the right coaches in place to actually teach them that financial literacy is something that's super important, right? And it's not about the goals and the outcomes that you achieve; it's the skill sets that you develop through it, right?
Yeah.
And I guess how does it feel knowing that now you have the ability to actually like sell people, like not just setting, you can actually close people one on one on a Zoom call and have that like skill set with yourself? How does it actually feel, bro? Has it kind of clocked it? Have you kind of clocked it yet or not really?
No, I've clocked that. And I think that's been like the best part about the journey, like actually helping people. Because when I came into like sales space, like naturally you see people in the sales space and you see a lot of I guess people pushing sales, pushing a sale on people, and then social media is a very big platform, and like they just show you the good things, they show you them pushing, they show you them getting the sales, and they go, yeah, this is how you do it,
Yeah.
right? And I never was about that because I was raised on like morals and stuff. Like when I told my parents I was going to high ticket sales, I had the same ideology that I had, make sure you don't do this, make sure you don't do that, like morals, morals, morals. And like finding an offer that actually helps people fulfill what they need is like the best thing because not only does that, obviously help the company grow, but these people are genuinely like stuck where they want to be, and they kind of just need that leadership to get them through to being the version that they want to be themselves. And all closers in the space know this already, and I think that's why a lot of the top 1% closers are really good at what they do, is because they are same side energy. Like Adrian, I remember mentioning it, like he's very good at being same side energy. You yourself as well, like having that energy to help people. That's definitely something that's been the best part about it. And that's something that once I did it the first time, I was like, damn, like this feels good.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know that feeling, bro. I know what you're talking about. And
Mm.
honestly, like sales, especially like high ticket sales and online sales, it gets a very like bad rep or a bad reputation. It's kind of notorious because they think it's pushy sales. They look at the traditional side, which is like cold
Yeah.
sales, cold calling, door knocking, car sales, which is like very intense type of sales, and they don't really understand what it feels like to hop on a Zoom call in a very chill environment. So yeah, I agree with where you're coming from. So yeah, you pretty much went from 0 to 7K a month, kind of having this new skill set. Let's go back, bro, to when you made that change, when you kind of invested in me, when you went all in and took that leap of faith. Like you told me, you were at a point in your life where it's like, I have to do something. It's not like
Yeah.
I want to. It's like I just need to do it, right? And I know
Yeah.
what that point was, and there was multiple factors that led me to make that decision. Apart from like time and that side of things, what was like the lowest point that you reached that made you go, enough is enough? Like I have to do this. Like did something happen or?
I think it was my parents like pushing that 9 to 5, and like I love my parents. They're my biggest supporters. They're awesome people, but like that 9 to 5, just like I said, it was dreading, and I kind of came to the realization that this is slowly becoming a reality.
Yeah,
Like the more I kind of sit on it, it's gonna become a reality. If I continue applying for jobs, I'm gonna land an interview, and if I have nothing else going on, I'm going to go to this interview, right? And if I land it, and if I still have nothing going on, I'm gonna take the job, right? And then so that was the part where I was like, oh, I don't know, like, I don't know if I should keep applying. I don't know if I should like. I was like very mixed emotions about everything at that point, right? And when I think it was definitely TJ. I'm gonna bring his name into it because he actually like I'm grateful for him referring me on to you. I think we were in the gym, and I was always like trying to talk about him, see what he was doing because I knew he was in space as well a little bit. And at the time, I was going through some other method. Can't remember what it was, but that didn't work out. So I asked him, and he said, "Yeah, I'll keep put you in touch with him." And I texted you. You put an appointment in for a week later, and that week was actually like the longest week of my life. Like because I was going through so many emotions, right? TJ had already told me like the ticket price, and I'm looking at my bank account and like, oh, like I don't know if I should do this. Like we went to straight analysis paralysis. I was just in from Monday to Sunday, and I think Sunday night I was at work and I gave TJ a call, and I'm like, bro, like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? And like, are you sure I should do this? Guys, listen, man. Like, nothing's gonna happen if you do this. Like, he did as I told him to, and I went through all your testimonials, went through everything, and even on the call, like, even though it was more of a confirmed call, when you asked me to put it through, I was like, cool, now? And he said, yep, straight face. And then when I sent the money through, my stomach just like sank, you know. But then I kind of just forgot about it. I'm like, cool, whatever. Like, this works out. This works out. If it doesn't, cool. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, you know. But that's kind of the first step. Like I just wanted it to do it ASAP rather than waiting for that week because I feel like I waited any longer, I would have been second guessing, and that call would have been a lot harder for you.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been. It's not even about me, bro. I mean, yeah, it would have, I guess, but it would have been harder for you, lad. Imagine if we didn't make that decision.
Yeah,
Where would it even be?
exactly.
I mean, like you said, let's like break that down, bro. Let's go back to the start where your parents were kind of pushing the 9 to 5 on you. Like, I'm sure your parents are lovely people, but I guess how did you kind of battle that? How did you overcome like your parents putting pressure on you to like apply to jobs 9 to 5? That's going to be like inevitable at the end of the day because a lot of people might relate to this of handling parent pressure. Like, how did you kind of overcome it?
Yeah. Um, Honestly, speaking to like my parents, like trying to explain online space
Yeah.
to them, and now like I've explained it, they've actually like they're really into it. Like after they come home from work and stuff, and they're like, "All right, did you close any deals?" And I'm like yes, or I'll be like, no. Like they're like really like involved. They ask me how my day went. I talk to them about prospects and stuff. I talk to them about just normal stuff. Like they're very like supportive of everything I do. But like at this initial stage, I think that was the first step for them too, because they've never seen anyone try that. They've never seen anyone put that much
Yeah.
money into something, right? So it's a scary step, right? And like when I did it, I had next to nothing in my bank account when I did it. I think I had like $200 and like it was nothing, right? And I was tripping, but I was like, whatever, like it's done. Just do it, like just lock in, keep going from there. And I didn't tell my parents to start. I only told my dad, I think. And I told him, I'm gonna do it, like don't tell mom. And he told mom, obviously.
Yeah.
But she didn't mention anything. And then she kind of just found me like going through like content with like the stuff that you kind of sent me, like studying that and learning everything. And she just asked me like, how much you have in your savings? And I'm like, nothing at the moment. And then she goes, you invested in it, didn't you? I'm like, yeah. And she kind of just like smiled and walked away. That was the initial first step for them. So I feel like for whoever's like kind of going through parental pressure, just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. And I feel like high ticket sales is like so hell bent on that. Like, do what you want to do. Like, there's people out there that don't want to do high ticket sales. There's people out there that don't want to get to that level of money or financial status, and that's normal. It's completely fine. They want to go to uni. They want to get the academic. They want to get the PhD. Cool. And I feel like that's the best thing about high ticket sales is it's more of do what you want to do what works best for you, do what you want to do your life, right? And for me, 9 to 5 wasn't that. And even though they were pushing it, I was like, nah. I feel like that was just a step I had to take. And I think that's like one of the very first times I kind of just did what I wanted to do
Yeah.
rather than going with the flow and letting everything happen. And that was a big step for I think all three of us, honestly, because they've adapted, right? And we're here now.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's super cool, bro. And I totally agree. Like, at the end of the day, your parents want what's best for you. And the reason they say these things is because the 40, 50 years that they've gone through has been the traditional way. And the only way they know that security happens in this world is through the traditional ways of a 9 to 5. Because 20, 30 years ago, Brad, like working at 9 to 5 was actually stable, right? Even like back in the day, it was very stable working at 9 to 5. But nowadays, it's just not enough for you to go buy a house, protect your family, set yourself up for generations. It's just not enough at the end of the day. At the end of the day, just have a lack of knowledge, right? But what I think is super cool and actually really special about like your journey, bro, is the fact that you knew TJ. So for context, everyone who's watching this, TJ is another one of my students who's hit 10K a month. You can go watch his case study and watch his interview on the channel as well. It's probably uploaded by the time we're doing this. Um, Walk us through like how you were feeling when you saw TJ like make money online and see his transition and him doing high ticket sales. Because bro, for me, I had no one that I knew that personally did money with high ticket sales. So how did you feel?
Dude, when I joined, TJ didn't tell me too much about it. It didn't tell me about how much he was making. Didn't tell me about
Yeah.
any of the comms he was making. It was more of I'm with this guy. He's the goat, right? He's going absolutely crazy. He went crazy like at a young age, and I'm like going to lock in. I'm gonna do it. And I feel like that alone, his conviction alone, his certainty in like Hugh and himself, that's the reason I was kind of like, yeah, cool. Let's run this because I didn't know what he was making. I didn't know what he was doing. Like I said, the conversation happened in the gym. He, I think he hooked me up with you in the gym. Like I was next to him when he texted you and put me into the group chat, and yeah. So like I didn't know too much. One thing I did know was like if he's doing it and he knows it's a structured system, I trust him completely, And if it doesn't work, because high ticket sales at the end of the day is what you put in, is what as an individual you put in. Doesn't matter who got you into sales, doesn't matter if they're making 10, 20, 30K a month, right? Yes, that goal is possible, but mate, you're not gonna get there if you just sit around and expect them to hand you everything, right? They expect them to hand you an offer, golden offer, expect them to sit with you day by day and like train you up to where you want to go and then eventually like you get that offer. That's not how that works, right? And so it is a grind. So for whoever's trying to get into high tech sales and whoever's been sold a dream that this is like a easy 4 hour on the beach type thing, just know that it's not. It's very much a 12 to 16 hour grind, and a lot of people, especially in the DSA, I know are doing 16 hour days, especially the boys working on like US offers and stuff. And so, you know, with TJ, it wasn't about the money at all. It was more about he found a pathway, found a structured pathway, and I just trusted him completely.
Yeah, yeah. No, dude, makes perfect sense with where you're coming from, and I just think it's super inspirational. Because something that I missed, man, is having someone else in the space that made money that I could ask advice for, that I personally knew that I could go and like go to the gym with and ask. I never had that. And so for me, that decision was a lot harder, I guess, to make. And again, everyone to their own. So, like you mentioned, when you invested in me, bro, you had like $200 left, and most people watching this, let's be real, like you and I both know, they're not gonna do that, right? Most people aren't gonna like invest in something and have $200 left in their bank account, especially online to a random guy. As much as you knew me, across Zoom, it's not gonna happen. And like you mentioned before this, dude, you suffered with like analysis paralysis, overthinking. That 1 week up until our call, you were just analyzing it in your mind, and you had many points where you even wanted to drop the idea. I
Mhm.
guess how did you overcome that and get over that analysis paralysis, like a lot of people face?
When we already obviously went through everything, you sent me everything, and like I already knew the ticket price as well. So from Monday onwards, like I said, I've never been like terrible with like I've been pretty finance literate, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, if I do this, what do I do here? What do I need to do here? And like to me, that's I feel like it's very valid, and that's very valid for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, if you're in that position where you know something can actually help you get to where you want to go, right? And even at that time, I was like uncertain. I was like, I don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah.
Even when I started cold calling, bro, I didn't even know if it was going to work. I was cold calling for like a month
Yeah.
straight, and like I'm put two sets through, made no money, right? And like, there's a lot of people out there who've been grinding that and keep going, and then eventually start hitting the goals. Like, it's a very, very exponential growth. It's a very slow grind, but once everything clicks, that's when everything starts just compounding and stacking, and you kind of keep on from there. So, I was really uncertain at that point, and I think that Saturday before I even went to work and like tried to analyze everything, I'm like, maybe I should text him. I don't want to waste his time. Maybe I should just be like, nah, I'll look into it later. Like, thank you so much for the opportunity. Like, all good. And then, but I overthink that too, right? I overthink that message. I procrastinated, like, sending that message. I'm like, do I really want to do that? Sunday came and I'm going through all the videos. I'm like, just in the back room thinking, like, pros and cons, pros and cons, pros and cons. And then by Monday, when it came, I was just so tired of thinking. I was so tired of thinking. And I kind of just asked, like, a simple question of, like, one, have I ever actually done something like this before? No. And so, how do I know the outcome if I don't do it? and like, that's just kind of what changed like everything. I was like, fuck it, just do it, right? And
Yeah.
I'm still working the retail job. If this doesn't work, and that was what I was thinking. That's what how I was thinking at the start. That's why I say my mentality changed. That if it doesn't work, or if this doesn't happen, if it doesn't happen, it's very assumptive. It's very future driven. It's very chasing the outcome, right? And I'm glad that that didn't control me in that moment because if it did, then I wouldn't be here, right? And so I kind of just hopped on the call, and immediately when I hopped on the call, I knew I was gonna do it. I knew that I kind of had to do it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to one bitch out, one and one look stupid in front of you, going and I hopped on this call, gone through everything, and gone, no, I don't want to do it. And two, like TJ referred me. It was a bad look on his rep. And I think I texted him about that as well. Like, I don't want this to be a bad look on you. Like, maybe I should text him. But it was just that uncertainty that you kind of just have to close your eyes and just take the leap of faith. Like, like everybody has to do it at some point in their life.
Yeah.
And you kind of just overcome that. So it was definitely a long week. It was definitely a very long week. It was definitely a lot of uncertainty, definitely a lot of overthinking. Um, and I kind of just backed it up with, if this doesn't work, I'll make the money back. Like it's fine. It's whatever. That's that. I got tired of thinking, if that makes sense.
That's
I got
crazy.
tired of
I actually didn't know the
analyzing.
whole story. I mean, you told me like parts of it, but I didn't even know it
Yeah.
was like that long, bro. You spent a week thinking about it. I had no. By the way, guys, I had like no clue when Yash was up in call. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, chill. This guy seems like a chill dude. Let's just let's get him results. He came from TJ, who I've already helped as well. Why can't I help him?
Mm.
But that's super inspirational, man. Because when I
Mm.
started, I was the exact same. For those of you that don't know my story, I've told you this story as well. When I was
Yeah.
investing in my first mentor, I pretty much declined the call to hop onto the meeting because I was too scared that I was going to look like stupid. Pretty much exact same thing you just said, and I just didn't want to like. I was very indecisive and analysis paralysis. And bless him, he called me like 2, 3 times, and I didn't realize it was just part of a normal sales process. Maybe it was, but he called me 2 to 3 times, and that honestly saved my life because I picked up like the third ring, and I was like, "Hey, bro, all right, let's hop on." And then I hopped on that call, and the rest is history. So
Yeah.
I hear where you're coming from. So you overcame that issue. You joined the program. You took a leap of faith. You have pretty much $0 in savings, a couple $100 pretty much to live. What was your first impressions when you joined the DSA in terms of like the community, the materials, like calls, like what was like your first impressions when you joined, the support and everything?
When I first joined, well, first of all, when I first joined, the community wasn't like there's people in the mentorship,
Yeah.
but there wasn't like a group of people, and it
Yeah.
was if I'm being honest, it was harder for myself because I'm like, yes, I need a network. Where do I look to network, right? And I think I went through like Harley's thing as well, like texting reps on that one. But it was a little bit difficult at the start, if I'm being completely honest, and like it just almost felt very isolated in a way. Like, yeah, I had TJ, I had like other boys in Melbourne that I knew, and but at the end of the day, you're the one that's at home putting the work in. No one's going to be around you. Just felt very isolated at one point. And so when the community kind of got up and running, and you realize all these people were actually in the community from ages ago, now you can connect with them and everyone coming through the doors and everything. It was just awesome. Like a lot of people that like, we just hop on like Zoom calls, bro. Like no shows and everything. Like bro, someone will just send a Zoom link in the chat and we'll just yap for like an hour and a half. Nothing to do with sales at all. Like we'll just yap, and then that's just networking in itself. But it's also just like this is normal, right? That's just a normal part of everything. Like everyone's in different places. Everyone's up in Perth and Sydney, Melbourne, wherever, and so naturally when we need a break, it's just a great getaway. So that community has like been like peak, like genuinely peak. Stress level wise, ask questions, whatever. Your group calls has been awesome. Like people hop on twice a week at like ungodly hours, but they want it, right? They want to put the work in. Um, they want it just as bad. They're just as hungry, and it's good to be surrounded with people like that because that it just pushes you. You're not stuck, you're not comfortable or anything. You see people doing mad numbers. You see beginners like Alan coming in and doing mad numbers, and you're like, damn, like this is awesome, right? Like, so it keeps pushing you. You're never in a place of complacency.
I agree, man. I agree. And like, it's the corny saying, right? You are the 5 people who you surround yourself with, or you are the 50 people
Yeah.
you surround yourself with, whatever it is. Um, when you're surrounding yourself with so many people that sometimes even do better than you, right? Like sometimes get there faster than you, have higher standards than you pretty much end up leveling yourself up so you can be like them as well. So that makes perfect sense. And also, what's really cool is you mentioned hopping on Zoom calls and in your downtime, like hanging out with the boys. I think that's something that I missed out on. Like when I started initially, like in my journey, and then I got it more as I reached that 10K a month, as I reached those bigger goals, is when I really started making more friends in this industry. I guess how has that been for you, bro? Like making friends in the online space, because a lot of people deal with isolation with online media.
Yeah.
So how has like DSA helped you kind of like make friends? I guess because yeah,
It's just it starts off with, cool reviews. It starts off with networking, and then all of a sudden it just leads into some random shit that you couldn't even like you weren't even there, you weren't even on the call for that reason for. And that's I think that's the best part because that's like how I interact with people in real life as well. Like it might start off with like, for example, cricket. It might start off with asking cricket, and then all of a sudden it leads into a different direction. It might start off with work, lead in a different direction. I think that's why I've made a lot of my friends as well, and I think that's why I made a lot of my close mates because you just relate to each other a lot. You find something in common, you kind of just keep going, and then it just becomes banter. It just becomes it's just like a good culture. And that's part of the reason why I look for that on offers as well, purely because of the DSA, because I'm like, these people are operating at a high standard. They're hitting, their goals. They're hitting 10, 20, 30K a month, right? And on top of that, they also have this balance of culture, that banter. They have good chats, they have normal chats, normal human interaction. And that's what I look for in an offer as well, like that culture. It kind of just stems from that. And it's just like a big like pressure relief, honestly. Like you hop on and you like for example, like last week I hopped on with Vanch and like it was just a Zoom call about the offers that we're on, and then we kind of realized we were doing the same thing, with the show rates and everything, and we just relate, and then we forget about it, and then we just talk about something else. It's like it's not like finding a solution to your problem. It's more of having people there to like relate to when they've been in specific situations, and then kind of going, all right, cool, like this is normal, this is part of the game, all right, move on, that's it, right? That's all it is.
yeah, I agree, dude. I've made my best friends in the online space, like
Mm.
make money online space. I've met so many best friends, and I like to keep a tight circle. And I was always someone that struggled to like have very very close friends that I could genuinely trust and have my back. And a lot of the online money friends that I've made have probably been the best friends that I ever had. And I honestly raised my standards for what real friends actually are, to be honest, compared to where I was before. So that makes sense with where
Yeah.
you're coming from. So you come in, your first impressions are you're surrounded by like-minded people, you are going through all the modules, you're going through everything, you're attending the group calls. Walk us through like your journey, bro, exactly. Because I remember you made a post where you literally mapped it out on how much income that you made. So first month in, what was your journey like? And then like go from there.
First month in, if I'm starting from like May, first month in, it was, I think I hopped onto that cold calling offer within
Yeah.
that week and I use it for reps.
Yeah.
And for the first week, I was like a little bit on and off. Like I kind of had that gateway of the offer owner saying like, oh, like you can work when you want,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just tell me when you're working and you can, and that kind of just it gives you a gateway. Like you can be like cold calling, you go in for the first day, 'cause first day on the job, right? And you hit all these hours, and then you exit the day and you're drained and you're tired, and you go, maybe I won't do it tomorrow. Maybe I won't do it tomorrow. And then that's kind of what the first like 1.5 weeks looked like on this offer.
Yeah.
Then from the second week, I was like, nah, like fuck this. Monday to Friday, just dialed and then did it again for another week. So 2 weeks of straight like cold calling, and that's when I saw like improvements.
Yeah.
That's when I saw like improvements in my skills to an extent, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I started hitting sets, like hit my very first set in those couple of weeks, and like that was just purely because, again, volume, numbers, and trying to perfect every little thing rather than going through the motion of dialing people and like praying that they don't pick up because you don't want to like get aired out on a call at like 5 p.m. In the evening or like just because you're tired or whatever, right? And I think that helped a lot because when I hopped onto my first official offer in June, they wanted me to train for like a week of dialing. I had a feeling that they knew I wasn't too experienced, even though I said, XYZ, whatever. They kind of had that gist a little bit. And so they wanted me to train up as a setter for the first week. And then I trained up from Monday to Friday, like hellbent training,
Yeah.
2 hour role plays and everything. And learned, I did stuff on my own, like wrote my own script, memorized my own script, memorized how to ask questions, remembered energy, tonality, whatever. And then on Wednesday, the owner was like, bro, like I wasn't expecting you to do this at all. Like I didn't want you on dials until Monday, and even then it was going to be cold call leads just to see how you go interact with people. And then they're like, "We'll get you on dials on Thursday," and that was cold calls, and I hit 3 sets within the next like Thursday, Friday, and they're like, "Ah, cool." Friday they said, "All right, you're on warm leads on Monday." So I just fast tracked the entire process, and then from Monday, my first day, I hit 6 sets on my first like warm leads inbound dialing, and then from then I just kind of just averaged 5 or 6 for the next month, and then by the end of it, I kind of just like I don't really want to keep setting, like
How
kind
much
of find like a peak.
by the end of that? Like in
That
that
was that first month was only that first month was 3 point something. It was about 3K,
3K.
and yeah, so that was good, and I feel
Right.
like
That's in June, right?
again that was in June. Yeah.
So you joined like pretty much May, I mean like middle of May, and within
Mhm.
June, bro, you pretty much went from like zero to like 3K a month, which I know for you, like it's like, yeah, I'm better now and I'm gonna go into better things, but it's like, dude, how did that feel when you made that first couple grand a month? Like, was that kind of what gave you the drive to double down and go even harder, or like how did that feel?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was like again the confirmation that
Yeah,
I found like a structure and like a system that actually works if you put the work in,
yeah,
right? Because I did that for the month. You
yeah,
know, I had an average of 5 sets. I had a show rate of 60%, right? And like that drive, that satisfaction of doing that and then reaping the rewards because of that, that's what kept driving me. That's what kept pushing me. And yeah, that was just really exciting to me, honestly. It was more of the process rather than actually like 3K landing into my account.
sick. So then you went from setting, and then where did you go?
So I went to closing, but end of June, again, I might have got a little bit ahead of myself, but I asked to like be trained up as a closer. Again, I didn't want to start closing, but I was just like, that's where I want to go. Like that was my end game. I felt like in that month alone, I picked up on so much setting skills that by like July, I was just like freestyling. Like I was just freestyling, asking the right questions, still running everything structured, but it wasn't like my first few calls in June. It was more free flowing, more conversational. And that's when it kind of clicked to me that like I feel like I've nailed this,
Yeah,
you know? Feel like even if other people say I had it, even though other people say no, there's a 1% is missing or whatever, I had like 100% like conviction in myself and saying that I've nailed this. If I'm getting sets in at this rate, if I'm having a show rate of 60% and the quality sets, then I feel like I've nailed this a little bit. So that's the reason I wanted to be like trained up as a closer. They said, yeah, cool. And the reason being was like I just like control, like if that makes sense. Not in a really like I don't know, like in a weird way. Like I like control of like what I do. I like control of my results, and I feel like setting wasn't really allowing me to do that.
yeah,
At the end of the day, I can put the sets in, but the close isn't on me.
yeah.
It's like if it hasn't happened, then okay, cool, move on to the next. But at the same time, it compounds as well, and you're like, what can I do to help myself and help the company grow? And that was closing. Right, so I asked to be trained up as a closer. Took my first sales call in July when everyone was unavailable. Didn't do too bad. It was definitely interesting. I remember swiveling on my chair a lot. I remember fiddling with my pen a lot. I
Yeah,
remember
remember that.
having my hair down,
Yeah.
having my earrings in, looking hoodlum as hell. And it was a nuts sales call, but it was good exposure and it was like a really weird adrenaline rush. And then I kept pushing, I kept pushing that whole July, I kept pushing start of August, and then they gave me a shot because the closer wasn't free at all, and then did all right. And then that week I took my first call, objection was spiff, and then that's it. The rest of the history, I kind of just kept going, closing setting, and then moving from there. And that at that point it was more like, okay, cool, I'm in control now. Like this is all on me. This is all on what I do. Whatever mistakes I make, it's on me. And I'd rather that. I wouldn't want to put that pressure on
Oh,
anybody else other than
100%.
myself.
And when you did
Yeah.
close, bro, like how much commissions did you make again from like that 1 hour call? The objectionless.
That one I made 500 off that call.
I mean, dude, making 500 off an hour off a Zoom call
Mm.
at home, like as much as, of course, you put in the work, you put in the training, you put in the time, you got your skills as you went through all that to get there. But the fact that you even got there, bro, how did it kind of feel? The fact that you could just make 500 an hour from home on Zoom.
Yeah, that was surreal, honestly. That was like I scoped out on that day, like I scoped out after the call, I kind of just sat there and I kind of just gone like damn, like
Yeah.
I just spent an hour talking to a guy, asking about his problems, helping him out, guiding him. That alone was satisfying because it was objectionless. It means that everything that I did in that call was like pretty much bang on, right? And even though it might not have been, even though it might have been my energy, even though it might have been my tonality, right? And obviously there's places to improve every call, but just knowing that like 500 for an hour is possible, it was nuts. It was nuts.
Hell yeah. Good shit, bro. No, proud of you, man. Like I remember how far you came in your journey, and I think what's something everyone can learn from your journey is specifically how you focused on skill set, right? And it's pretty much everything that I tell all my students. I tell all my YouTube videos as well is focus on your skill set and the money will come later. Like even now, Yash, I'm telling you the same thing. Focus on your skill set, bro. Because 7K a month is great, right? It gets you out of
Yeah.
survival mode. But wait till you hit 20K a month. Wait till you hit 30K a month. Wait till you hit 40K a month. And the only way to get there is to focus on the inputs for a long period of time. That way you have the skill set to go and do that. So one thing Yash always did is he listened to my advice and always chose the hard path. Always chose the uncomfortable path of just dogging it through cold calling, getting into setting, getting into closing, and just taking it slow. Which is why his journey from here is just going to compound. And speaking of your journey, bro, now that you're at 7K a month, now that you've kind of got out of survival mode, maybe even like proven to your parents that, hey, online money actually works. What's the next step for you? Like, where do you really want to go in terms of the next 6 months, next year, in terms of your income goals, traveling, skill set? Where do you want to be?
In terms of income goals, well, obviously the next step is everyone's goal or the 10K. But again, like that is, I'm not putting that on a pedestal. I'm not
Yeah.
blindly chasing that. That's just something that's there. It's a target to hit. It's a checkpoint to pass. Um, in terms of traveling, like I know a lot of people get into high sales. They make money and they go go wherever they want to go and they're trying to work from there. For me, like that's like not a big worry. Like I'm not too fussed about traveling. I know that I will travel. I know that it'll happen. I'm a very spontaneous kind of person. Like if I feel like the time is there and I feel like I can go now, I'll go. But I'm not planning to kind of move or kind of do anything and go like over there and like do sales, because I feel like
Yeah.
for me, it just won't work. I won't be in the right headspace. Um, I'm in the right headspace at the moment. I'm at home in an environment where like I know I'm familiar with and I know I can lock in. I don't want to have that. I don't want to lose momentum going to some place and trying to adapt, trying to find the right things that work there, and potentially miss out on collecting cash, right? So that's my main goal in the next towards the end of the year, toward for Q4, especially like leading into like January, February, collect as much cash as possible, check the 10K mark, and then keep pushing from there. Like check the skill point, see what I did to get to 10K in terms of skills, maintain those skills, and then build on them as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
very internal goals.
Yeah, very internal. And honestly, like what I'm seeing, man, is from where you were before to where you are now, you've kind of done a 180 in terms of like your values and even
Mm.
like your goals and how you think about your goals. It's very different to where we were, 5, 6 months ago, where it was like, I want to make XYZ money, or I want to do XYZ goal, or I want to get this, or what if this doesn't happen? It's a very different way of thinking, which is just great to see. But also, your journey from here is only going to compound. I say this because it took me way longer to go from 0 to 10K than it did for me to go from 10 to 40K a month, right? So your journey
Mm.
from here will only compound, bro, if you just keep at it.
Yeah, that's the plan, honestly. Everyone that I've kind of talked just said that 0 to 10K is the hardest part.
100%.
And I feel like, yeah, it's more of the mentality rather than skills because you can very easily allow yourself to attach from outcome. And I've done that. Like towards the end of last month, I actually did that. I got really fixated on a deal that didn't close and it stung a lot, right? And that was me going away from what I'd learned over the last few months. And so that's something that I want to continue to work. Obviously, it's a work in progress. Everything's a work in progress. Like even detaching from everything is a work in progress. You still sometimes, I guess, you go back to that way of thinking. You go back to like attaching to stuff. It's completely normal. It's human, but it's like, are you gonna keep doing that, or are you gonna just go back onto the path that you found, right?
Yeah.
So that was important for me. Really being self-aware of what happens in my life right now. Like what actions lead to whatever outcome actually
Yeah.
happens.
For sure, bro. For sure. And also what I wanted to ask, because dude, I've been there, but honestly for me it's like not so long ago, but 2, 3 years in the online space is a long time, right? And you know how it feels to be like a couple months into the space, how time flies so
Yeah.
quick. So for me it's like sometimes I can't even relate to some things, right? Back to who I was when I was 18 years old. So for you who's gone from making $0 to having that limiting mindset analysis paralysis, now overcoming it and making money online and realizing that it's not a scam and everything's actually real and you can make
Yeah.
money. There's a lot of people around you that you even go to gym with, you might go to school with, that you might go to university with, and even just in general in the online space that look at your journey, right? But they still can't get over that analysis paralysis. They still can't get to where they want to go. Why do you feel like there's only very few of us that actually make money online, and why do you feel like most people are stuck and not able to make money? Because to be very honest, like me and you both know that there's not a lot of people like us that actually make money online, to be honest.
Mm. Yeah. That's a good question. I think part of it comes from a little bit of ego,
Mm.
a little bit, I've noticed that like, investing into things, people have a lot of ego, especially like I've talked to my friends outside of sales a little bit, and because I don't know about it, like obviously naturally that I don't know about it, like they think that, it's a scam, like this is like, I don't know what you're doing, like, and it's like a scary thing for them, like, and that's fair enough, right? It's like it comes from a point of fear, it comes from a point of why would I invest something into this, like if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
But then I kind of always give them an analogy of like, have you done it before? And I go, no. Well, I'm like, how do you know it's not working? I'm like
Yeah.
sitting here, like kind of giving you a gist of the results I'm giving you, like I'm getting, like over the last 6, 7 months, and you're still not like kind of grasping what's kind of going on. So I feel like it's very internal. Everything that happens is very internal. Like when I joined, I knew that I needed to make a change. I knew that all I needed was structure. All I needed was a system that was kind of proven. And even at that point, I didn't know it was proven, but I knew there was a structure out there, right? And so I've like invested in myself in the past as well. So I was kind of not immune to it because again, it's still scary, right?
Yeah.
But it's more like, all right, cool. Like I made that money back. I can make this money back. It might take me a bit longer, but it's very, very internal way of thinking. It's very internal way of how people view like what they need to do to get to where they want to go. Like everyone says they want to be rich, right? But
Yeah.
they don't execute at all, right? They don't they put money, they put financial, they put richness on like this pedestal, and then they get really overwhelmed by the fact that they have to get rich, they have to get rich, we have to get rich, we're young, we have to get rich, right? And they get really like flustered, and then they end up doing nothing, right? And they never take the time to like process and break it down and like, okay, what's this guy doing? Okay, is it working? If it is, if it's not, can I make it work? And if I think I can't make it work, where does that belief come from, right? Like, why do I think I can't make it work? Because reality is you can make anything work. People who've been successful doing drop shipping, people who've been successful doing marketing, whatever, but people aren't willing to spend time in the uncomfortable, spend time in like the trenches and in the shit to actually get to where they want to go. And that's, I think, is the difference between people who actually make money online and people who don't.
Hundred
They,
percent, 100%.
yeah,
I mean, to give my 2 cents on it, I totally agree. Like, I'm gonna just use what you said. Everyone says that they want to be rich. Everyone says they want to make money. Everyone says they want to have freedom. They want to have status. Like whatever it is, everyone says they want these things, but they don't actually internally look at themselves in the mirror and go, the way that they've made decisions in the past and their entire life has literally led them to where they are right now. Right? It's a result of the decisions that you make. Same with you, Yash. Like before you joined my program, bro, the way that you made decisions has led you to where you were at that point, feeling low, feeling anxious, feeling like you're not going anywhere in life. All those feelings aren't an accident. Like it is, you don't just magically, it doesn't come to you, right? It's a result of the decision
yeah,
that you make. And the way that you make decisions moving forward from right now will lead you to where you'll be in the next 6 to 7 months. Now, Yash and had to change his way of decision making for him to actually make a change, right? You change the way you make decisions. It's completely different now, which is why he's getting a different outcome. And for most of you watching this, 99% of you, I'm just being brutally honest, like it's sad, but aren't going to change the way that you make decisions. Let's be real, right? It's a very tough thing to do and it's very scary and most people don't do it. But for the 1% that do change the way they make decisions from watching this video, you will basically have different outcomes in life, and you'll get to your goals of money, freedom, like whatever it is that you want at the end of the day. So everything is on the other
Yeah.
side of that fear. It's on the other side of that wall. That's all it is, right? At the end of the day. So I agree, bro. That makes perfect sense. And you touched on like all the different ways to make money online as well. And I actually haven't asked you this, so I'm actually curious. What did you actually try before you came in and did high ticket sales? Because I've tried like a lot of things that are pretty embarrassing as well, to be honest, but I'd love to know your 2 cents.
I tried like ways to make money inside like the online space and outside as well, but I'll get into like what I tried. But the thing that was the difference was I didn't stick at it
Yeah,
long enough.
yeah,
I think that's what a lot of people do as well. They don't stick at it long enough, and they might not have the right structure, they might not have the right system, and that's why they kind of get overwhelmed. They put again the money and everything that they want to do on this pedestal. They don't actually trying to find a way to do it. And honestly, the best way to be successful in any aspect of life is actually to actually get help. Get help from someone who's already gone there in any aspect. Like sport, you have coaches for a reason, right? They're not just there to give you a hug and comfort you when something doesn't go your way. They give you the hard truth. They give you why you haven't done something, and that's what actually makes you go. Same thing that goes with mentorships, right? I tried drop shipping, some random stuff
classic.
off. I think I bought like some dog hairbrush or something like from AliExpress. I tried something called print on demand. Made a website for everything, marketed it a little bit. And I tried. I was reselling in high school, like shoes and stuff, anything I could find my hands on. Made a little bit of cash off that, like nothing crazy. Tried a marketing course, marketing agency, but it was weird. It didn't really do too much in terms of actually helping you. It had a lot of modules and everything, but again, that in itself, it probably did work, honestly. But again, it wasn't really committed to actually doing it. It
Yeah.
may have come down to I felt like that wasn't going to work. Felt like I had some doubts about it, or it was very internal. Like it was very like procrastination. Like didn't really stick to it, whatever. And I also had a chat with some people on LinkedIn, and it was like some weird ass. And at this point, it was like, okay, if this is making money, this is making money. It was like some multi-level marketing thing,
Yeah.
absolute scam, right? Crazy, crazy, right? And like, I wasn't like too deep into it. Like, I'm always like, always on. I was always conscious about everything. I'm not like desperate to. I wasn't desperate to jump into that straight away and try and like start stuff. But I did my own research on it, and obviously it turned out to be a scam and whatever, and I kind of just pulled away from that. So I definitely tried a lot of things in the past, and I definitely feel like a lot of them were internal because, like I said, like chronic procrastinator, chronic overthinker about everything, right? You feel that it sometimes when you're doing stuff, it's just in your gut, like it's like some sinking feeling like this isn't gonna work or whatever.
Yeah.
And the difference between high ticket sales and what I was doing then was that I kept pushing in high ticket sales. I pushed through that feeling, that gut feeling, because you feel it for one day or you feel it for like half a day, and I would have just stopped. I would have been like, cool, like I'll just give it a break, and then you just don't go back to it because you're dreading that feeling again. But honestly, I like look forward to that feeling. I look forward to like feeling that way because I know that something's happening
Yeah.
that I'm gonna like get myself out of, and that's what's actually gonna make me grow. Whether that's skill set, whether that's mindset, whatever it is, that feeling is actually what pushes you to get to where you want to go.
Oh,
So that was definitely a difference.
100%. And to add on to that, you mentioned high ticket sales was, better, or like the reason why you stuck at it was because you pushed through. I think it's also important to understand like why you push through, because it is an accident, bro. It isn't an accident that
Yeah.
high ticket sales you push through. There's a reason behind it. And I think apart from, MLM scams, pyramid schemes, apart from all that stuff, it breaks my heart that people fall into those things. And honestly, it is what it is.
Absolutely.
We all
Absolutely.
get burnt at once, but do your research, look into someone you trust, invest in mentorship that you actually know. Other than those, the business models like drop shipping, Amazon FBA, trading, all those business models, SMMA, marketing agency, they definitely work. Don't get me wrong, like they definitely do. However,
Absolutely.
most beginners, the reason why they don't push through is yes, procrastination, yes, not putting enough time into it because it's overwhelming. You have to learn 5 to 6 different skill sets. You have to learn sales, marketing, fulfillment, leadership, management, fulfillment, orders. Like these are skill sets that most people fresh into the space just don't have. But when it comes to something
Yeah.
as simple as like high ticket sales, It's one skill. It's sales,
Mm.
right? Like you don't need to like overthink it and have all these skill sets to get into it. And it's something that you can start with pretty much with very low capital. Um,
Mm.
and just having the right mindset and having no experience. You can actually get into the space without even having any reputation or running any ads. And that's something that's very hard to do with these other business models. Not that they don't work, it's just more of like a later game when you actually develop your
Mm.
skill sets. And I find this myself, man. Like a lot of high ticket sales reps that I personally even coach and some of my friends in the industry, they don't stay in the space forever. They stay in the space, they get to 30, 40K a month, and then they go to, trading. They go to start an
Yeah.
SMA, they go and start their own agency, whatever it is, they have the skill sets and capital to go do that now at the end of
Yeah.
the day, right?
And yeah, I feel like that's why it's such a good system, such a good space to be a part of.
Yeah.
Um, One, everyone's so welcoming. Like when you first start out into this, everyone's like
Yeah.
looking to help you out. They want to help you out. Like it's nothing like only competition that reps have is between themselves, right? Like that's what I've noticed a lot of the time because everybody knows that you get out what you put in. Like just because you've got a top closer on your offer doing XYZ, you being, I guess, like envious of what they're doing isn't going to help you get to where you want to go, right? You have to look at it as like, damn, like he's making that much. What's he doing? Right? What's he doing? Like, how's he doing it? Like, it doesn't matter how experienced he is. It definitely has some structure. It definitely has a way of thinking about how he goes about it. What do I need to do to get there? That's kind of the mindset a lot of the reps have, and that's kind of the mindset that a lot of people outside of sales don't have. You
Yeah.
know, they're very quick to get envious, and they're very quick to stay on that envious negative mindset, and they just stay there. They don't do anything for themselves. They kind of just hate, for the better lack of a word.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense with where you're coming from.
Mm.
And yeah, honestly, bro, I think that was great. I think we went through your entire experience, your journey, and I think it's super inspirational for a lot of people watching this. However, I want to do one last thing that I've done with everyone. I did it with TJ, Franklin, Aiden, Adrian, everyone. There's a lot of people that will watch this entire thing. Like, they're listening right now. They've gone through like this full hour. They've watched the entire video. They've seen your journey. They've seen mine. They probably watched the whole YouTube channel. They've probably researched 100 videos on high ticket sales, but they're still sitting on the fence. If you had to like sum it down to like literally one or two sentences, what would you say to someone who's listening right now that's sitting on the fence?
Close your eyes and just fall off the fence. And I guarantee you, you will land on the right side of the fence because you're already thinking about doing it, right? The only thing that's stopping you is all these analysis paralysis, all this overthinking. That's stopping you. You know you have to do it. You know you have to take it. So close your eyes and just jump. Just jump. That's
That's
that's as
actually
simple as
really
I can think
interesting.
of.
That is actually a really interesting take. I haven't heard that before. Just sit on the fence and let momentum carry you, and
Mm.
wherever you land will most likely be where you need to go. That's actually really good advice, Josh, to be honest.
Yeah. So if you land on the other side of the fence, then that's kind of where you feel like you want to be, right? But if you're already on that fence, you know, you've already taken that first leg over the fence, you already know which direction you want to go. Momentum is going to take you there. It's, it's a fear thing. But yeah, that's what it's very simple, but that's what helped me.
Gold, easy. Yeah, we'll wrap it up there, bro. That's a good note to end on. All right, hope you guys got a lot of value from seeing Yash's journey. Go check out the other ones that we mentioned, like TJ, who referred Yash himself, who's doing 10K a month. Feel free to check that out as well. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Easy.